Henry was a quiet, hard-working 17-year-old boy who had spent the better part of his teenage years helping his single mother make ends meet by working long shifts at a small but charming Italian restaurant nestled in a cozy corner of downtown Charleston, South Carolina, where the air always smelled faintly of sea salt and rosemary, and where the locals came not just for the pasta, but for the warmth that radiated from the place like the golden glow of the afternoon sun. Henry wasn't just a busboy. He was the soul behind the scenes, polishing silverware with care, memorizing regulars' favorite drinks, stepping in as a server when the rush got too heavy, all with a modest smile that masked the quiet dreams tucked in the back of his mind. Dreams of someday going to college, of traveling the world, of maybe, if life was kind enough, finding someone who would see him for who he really was, not just a kid with rolled-up sleeves and flour on his cheeks, but someone who carried within him a world of tenderness and untold stories. It was during a particularly rainy Tuesday afternoon, when the restaurant was nearly empty and the windows fogged from the simmering sauce pots in the back, that she walked in, Sophia, a vision of elegance in a tailored beige trench coat and heels that clicked on the wooden floor with confidence, her long dark hair cascading over her shoulders, her lips painted the color of ripe cherries, her eyes hidden behind oversized sunglasses that she only removed once seated by the window, revealing irises the color of twilight. And though she looked like someone who belonged in a Manhattan penthouse rather than a neighborhood trattoria, there was something about the way she leaned into the menu with curiosity, the way her fingers traced the descriptions of dishes as though discovering something precious, that told Henry she was not just another rich tourist passing through. She ordered lasagna and a glass of red wine and thanked him with a softness in her voice that made him pause. And throughout her meal, their eyes met more than once, each glance a flicker of something unspoken yet undeniably present. She returned the next day, and then again the day after that, each time requesting to sit by the window, each time asking Henry about the specials, about the chef, about his life. And before long, their conversations bloomed like the roses that adorned the centerpiece on her table, with Henry telling her about his love for old books and vintage records, his dreams of becoming a writer, his habit of taking long walks by the harbor at night to clear his head, and Sophia, in turn, sharing that she was 25, heir to a successful real estate empire built by her father, currently in town for business, but growing increasingly tired of shallow parties and hollow conversations, yearning instead for something real, something that made her heart beat faster for reasons that had nothing to do with bank accounts or social status. Their connection deepened with each passing day, the way the ocean slowly carves its name into stone. And soon, Sophia began staying longer, ordering coffee just to linger, sometimes helping him wipe tables, laughing when he teased her about being too glamorous to hold a dishcloth. And he found himself falling for her not because of her wealth, but in spite of it. He loved the way she crinkled her nose when she laughed, the way she listened like every word he said was a secret worth keeping, the way she believed in his stories even when he didn't. When she touched his arm one evening, gently, casually, it sent a warmth through him that lingered long after she had gone. And it was no surprise that when she invited him to take a walk with her along the harbor one evening under a sky-bruised purple by the sunset, he said yes without hesitation. And they walked in silence at first, the gentle lapping of water against the docks the only sound, until she stopped, turned to him, and said, "I don't know what this is, but I haven't felt this alive in years." And he replied, with the kind of honesty that only youth can muster, "Me neither." And then, under the orange glow of a street lamp, she kissed him, softly, tentatively, like testing the edge of a dream. And it was as if the world shifted, ever so slightly, to make room for something new and beautiful. From then on, they were inseparable in spirit, though bound by the constraints of their vastly different worlds. She in designer gowns and high-rise boardrooms. He in aprons and after-school shifts. But love, as it always does, found a way to bloom between their differences. And Sophia began to bring little bits of her world into his. Books she thought he'd love, tickets to plays, quiet Sunday picnics in secluded parks, while he grounded her with stories of real people, of kindness and resilience, reminding her of the beauty and simplicity. It wasn't easy. People whispered her father disapproved. His friends warned him she'd eventually leave. But they held on to each other with the fierce hope of those who finally found what they didn't know they were looking for. Months passed, and summer turned to autumn, leaves falling like confetti in celebration of a love that refused to fade. And one night, after a particularly long shift, Henry stepped outside to find Sophia waiting beside her sleek black car, holding a small box in her hands and tears in her eyes. And before he could speak, she opened it to reveal a vintage fountain pen resting on velvet and said, "I believe in your words, Henry. I want the world to hear them." And he understood then that she wasn't just a rich girl slumming it for the thrill. She was his partner, his muse, his heart. They began to plan a life together. She helped him enroll in college, and he helped her rediscover the joy of slow mornings and handwritten letters. And with every challenge they faced, from skeptical family to financial hurdles, they chose each other over and over again, until one spring afternoon, beneath a canopy of cherry blossoms in the park where they had first shared a picnic, Henry got down on one knee, his hands trembling but his voice steady, and asked her to marry him, to build a life not of luxury but of love, laughter, and shared dreams. And she said yes with tears streaming down her cheeks and a smile that could light up a city. They married in a garden with twinkling lights strung above in music that echoed their journey. Raw, honest, beautiful. And as they danced beneath the stars, Henry whispered in Sophia's ear that he had finally found the story he was meant to write. And it was hers, it was theirs, it was this moment, this love, infinite and eternal, blooming forever in the pages of their hearts.